Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving deep into the enigmatic world of the Kemetic tree of life, its ancient symbolism, its mystical cosmic-mythograph, and all the profound teachings of Anunian theurgy. It's like opening a treasure chest of ancient wisdom, isn't it?
Absolutely, it really is. I mean, just thinking about the tree itself, its contrasting layers from the primeval nun up through Ra, down to the very tangible earth, gives you a sensation of wonder. How do you see these layers interacting?
Well, the layers represent different realms of existence. Imagine it like a ladder with many rungs. The upper rungs exemplify the subtle, the transcendent, and the lower ones carry the weight of physical existence. And each level is associated with, specific cosmic forces and principles, like Ra representing the cosmic fire and life force emerging out of that unified, undifferentiated substance.
Right, and then you have those embodied forms, the Neteru, the gods and goddesses, each one balancing the cosmic equation. It's so fascinating how they become metaphors for both external creation and our internal journey.
Yeah. It's almost like the tree isn't just a static symbol, but a dynamic roadmap for spiritual evolution. It guides you from the gross material world all the way to the transcendent state where you, discover your true inner divinity.
And what's striking is the emphasis on self-knowledge throughout. The ancient Egyptians had this idea, know thyself, which is echoed in the hieroglyphics and in the ritual practices. That inner journey is, central to their whole philosophy.
Right. And that self-knowledge is actually tied to daily practices. The text lays out that to awaken spiritually, you need to engage in study, contemplation, and ritual, in a way to immerse yourself in the mystery, or shetout neta, as they call it. And it's not mere memorization. It's about embodying the cosmic forces.
I find it intriguing how they stress that these forces, say Ra and his emanations, are more than personified deities. They're dynamic energies. They even compare it to the electrical mesh in a bumper car ride, which accentuates how our consciousness interacts with the cosmic energy field.
Yes, indeed. Exactly. That analogy really helps ground the abstract idea into something tangible, like the pole touching the mesh as our awareness connects with the divine matrix of creation. It's the very idea that, you're not lone in your journey. You're continuously embedded in a web of cosmic interactions.
And this web, or tree, organizes everything into what appears, on paper, as a 2D diagram, but actually represents a multidimensional concept, like the division into Nunu, Duat, Pet, and Ta. How do you think these divisions help the aspirant?
They serve as visual markers for different stages of spiritual mastery. The transcendental has its place, while the physical is accessible to our daily experience. It's like they are saying, hey, work on these distinct areas in yourself, so you can eventually harmonize them all into one coherent spiritual identity.
That clarity of purpose is crucial, isn't it? Because without it, the forces might easily veer into ignorance or negative outcomes. The teaching warns us about the dangers of, harnessing cosmic energies for purely ego-driven purposes.
Right. A person who hasn't purified their heart might inadvertently fuel their own darker aspects, and that's why they stress purification through Mat, living righteously, observing those 42 precepts, and cultivating a balanced mind.
Yeah.
It's a call to not just gain knowledge, but to truly embody it.
I appreciate how the text isn't content to merely describe myth. It also offers practical steps, like using ritual, libations, chants, utterances of hekau, which serve as both invocation and meditation. It almost sounds like ancient technology for inner transformation.
Exactly. Absolutely. It's like they designed a structured program where myth, ritual, and meditative practice blend together. And even the obelisk, or teknu, at the core of the Tree of Life symbolizes that vertical ascent from the material to the spiritual. It's a neat visualization of progressive evolution.
Speaking of evolution, I find the discussion on the cosmic forces, how certain energies are feminine, like Aset with wisdom and Nat with will, while others like Shu represent air and Tefnut water, so elegant. It shows an inherent duality that still blends to form one integrated cosmos.
Yes, it really does, and it echoes that famous maxim, as above, so below. The deities, while distinct in their roles, ultimately point back to one supreme divinity, Nita, manifesting in many forms. This non-dualistic, almost henotheistic view is both intellectually and spiritually powerful, don't you think?
Absolutely. Now, here's a point to challenge a bit. Some might argue that the symbolic architecture here, with its elaborate cosmic mapping, sounds overly mystical, even esoteric and inaccessible to the modern mind.
What do you think? That, is a fair question. However, I think the beauty lies in the metaphor. Even if the language is metaphorical, it encourages us to explore our internal dimensions. And the structure, with its layered approach, from the undifferentiated primeval waters up to the perfected consciousness of Heru-Ur, offers a roadmap. It might seem fancy, but, it's grounded in the practical pursuit of self-mastery.
I agree. And it's even more interesting when you consider that these lessons aren't isolated. They build upon one another. You might start with trying to understand the concept of Shetaut Nader, then move on to mastering rituals, and eventually achieve something like cosmic balance.
Exactly right. Right, exactly. And the journey is very personal. There's a reflection component, journaling, meditating on what these symbols mean in your own life. It's not just academic, it's transformative practice.
Yeah, true. And I love that the text even relates these ancient practices to modern analogies, like comparing the cosmic matrix to an electrical circuit in a bumper car. It makes the mystical tangible for a contemporary audience.
Totally, it's, like bridging two worlds, the ancient and the modern, by showing that the underlying principles of energy and transformation haven't changed. Whether it's the low-level physics of, electricity, or the high-level metaphysics of spiritual awakening, the same idea applies. Connection, balance, and transformation.
Yes. And speaking of balance, the discussion on the interplay between motion and stillness, like the cosmic forces of Nebthotep and Usaseti, is so rich. They embody the necessary tension between rest and motion in creation, which really parallels our own life struggles.
Exactly. It reminds me of how, in our modern lives, we can either be caught up in endless activity or seek a moment of deep stillness to reconnect with our true selves. The tree as a ladder, as a pathway, ultimately tells us that we can ascend from our mundane activities to something transcendent if we learn to balance those forces within us.
And that's where the transformative discipline, the ritual of reflection and meditation, comes in. It's not just a leisurely theoretical discussion. It's an active call to practice inner work, to truly let go of ego and harness these divine energies for growth.
Right. And as we talk about that, another important aspect is the emphasis on purification. Without cleaning out our internal junk of ignorance and ego-centered desires, the cosmic energy might even lead us astray. That's why the text repeatedly emphasizes the need to practice Mat, repeating the importance of truth, order, and justice as the foundation for spiritual awakening.
Yes. It's fascinating how this ancient system, often seen as just myth or folklore, offers not only a worldview, but a discipline, a science of the self that's very much relevant to our journey today. It challenges us to, dare I say, become a living embodiment of those divine principles.
Yes, and even though it's wrapped in complex symbolism, like the obelisk, the Ben capstone, and the intricate pathways of cosmic forces, it speaks to the universal quest for meaning and self-mastery. In a way, it's timeless.
And now, to pull it all together, what do you think is the real vehicle here for achieving higher consciousness?
Great question. I'd say the Tree of Life serves as a metaphoric yet practical ladder, a vehicle that enables you to, step by step, ascend from the physical to the spiritual realm. It's about integrating every facet of your being, transforming mundane actions into ritual, and letting that inner light shine. It's a process where you're continuously refining yourself until you eventually recognize that your true essence is one with the cosmic divine.
That encapsulates it beautifully. It's a journey that starts in the depths of the soul, knowing yourself, and ultimately leads to the awakening of that inherent divinity. As we wrap up, it really hits home that this ancient wisdom, though steeped in symbolism, invites us to actively participate in our own spiritual liberation.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining in on this rich discussion.